Oh, I thought I was about to turn. Oh, actually. Oh my God, what is with this weather? It is December 17th in Ohio, and it is 50 degrees outside. Holy crap, it is nice. Alright, so this video is going to be a little different than the past few videos. I am going to talk about all the bikes that I rode this year, doing voiceovers with some of the footage, because one, I was not really sure on how to review the bikes at the time. As well, I kind of stopped yelling, dude. The mic picks up my voice pretty well. I like freaking screaming at the camera, or at the mic. But, anyways, so, all the different bikes I rode, which I'm going to go through the list here in a minute, but, I'm going to be doing voiceovers for the footage that I have for some of them, and, oh, excuse me, I'm choking a little bit. I'm going to be doing a voiceover for the footage. I used my Senna back then. It was earlier this year. I didn't have the Cardo and the Insta360 set up, so I had a 10C Evo, the Senna 10C Evo on my, so it was side mounted on my helmet, and in a lot of the footage, about like a quarter, the right quarter of the footage is my helmet. The big white spot on there, because I don't have it mounted far enough forward on that helmet. So unfortunately, excuse me, I'm burped. So unfortunately, not the best quality footage, not the best audio. I'll try to give you some good stuff, but let's go down the list of the bikes I rode this year. It's not a very big list. This coming year, I'm hoping to get a lot more. And at the end of the video, I'm going to rank them in order amongst themselves, and it doesn't mean any one is worse than the other. It's just my experiences on them compared to the other experiences with those bikes. Because there's one bike that's pretty far down on the list that I feel has the potential to be a lot higher on the list. So in no particular order, my 05 636. My 2024 RSV4, my buddy's Grom, my buddy's Trail, which I don't think I have any footage of me riding the Trail, and I don't have any footage of me on the 636 this year, unfortunately. So, and then there's the bikes from the demo day. Oh yeah, so I got my buddy's Grom, not my Grom, my buddy's Grom, my other buddy's Trail. My two bikes. Alright, so yeah, so then the demo day bikes. So we've got, let's go with the Cowies, the Z500, the Vulcan S, and the 2024 636. And then I also rode 4 different Triumphs during that same demo day. The Scrambler 1200, the Rocket 3, and the Daytona 660, and the Street Triple 765. So we're going to go through those bikes, cut some footage on some of them. I'm going to talk about them, and then we'll meet back up.
All right, we just leave I think we leave the pucks. All right, let's try this out. Oh, that's way different.
It really is. I wasn't used to the.
Feels loose.
So the controls were a little loose on this bike too. It felt really cheap. But yeah, I wasn't used to the start because I'm at the time, my 636 was my primary bike.
That's so fucking low.
So I wasn't used to the starter switch being all in one. I was used to an extra button for start. So that's what I was getting at for that.
Dude, that clutch is so much more different than my...
That's the nice way of saying it. It felt really sloppy. Not only did the clutch pedal feel really sloppy, sorry, not the clutch pedal, the clutch handle. Not only did the clutch handle feel really sloppy,
Oh my god, I do not like the clutch.
The clutch is my biggest complaint about this bike. The 660 is an absolute garbage bike, and I touch on it a little bit up here too, where I go into a lean and the bike just doesn't want to lean. The biggest issue with the 660 is the trash clutch. The pedal and the lever feels sloppy. It's got a crisis here. It's got an identity crisis. It's running the Daytona name, which it doesn't deserve at all. And it's trying to be a sport bike, but it's trying to be a touring bike, and it's not exactly a sport touring bike, but it is a sport touring bike. It doesn't handle like a sport touring bike. Triumph just needs to scrap the 660. In comparison, it's like a 650, you know, sport touring upright bike, but it's not. It's probably worse than any 650 on the market, and it's really not worth the bike.
6-speed. All right.
There's just so many. The mirrors felt really like cheap and sloppy.
Underpowered compared.
I think I end up adjusting them later on in the video again too, because they keep sagging because they're loose already, and it's a brand new bike.
Like it just feels more tame.
The clutch was super slow.
I mean, granted,
I can't remember. I think it was this bike where the actual clutch cable was loose. And I ended up adjusting it mid-ride. Like I'm literally riding the bike and I'm like trying to tighten the clutch cable. Which isn't anything against the bike, it's just like quality control.
Right here.
But it is a very tame bike. Yeah. But all in all, the 660 is probably the worst.
It feels weird trying to lean this bike.
The worst bike I've ridden on.
That was a third gear pull. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it's definitely slower than the 636. It's a little harder to lean. Ooh, I do not like this road.
And then right here, I almost missed the turn. So the brakes actually were pretty decent.
I was.
And I had very little confidence in the ability to lean this bike. I was still able to brake and make that turn last minute. Well, sort of last minute within the speed I was going. So.
But it is cable clutch, which I do like. Just the position of it is so far off.
All in all, I mean, it's not the worst bike in the world. But yeah, so we'll get into that, and I think we're going to move on to the next one soon. There's a couple more twisties we're going to hit, and then that'll be the end of the demo ride.
Recording.
So somebody was interesting buttons or whatever, and they turned it off. One of the guys was like, "I promise you, it wasn't working." Yeah. How did somebody figure out how to do that? I have no idea. They probably knew.
Or they're probably messing with this and held that one in.
Or yeah.
All right, guys, we got all set. Need a thumbs up from everyone. Thumbs up. All right, listen carefully for the name of your bike before the car. It's Kawasaki. Good time. Symbol tour.
Oh my God.
Road. Ninja 1000 SXZ 900 GX6R 4R.
Alright, so what those guys were doing a minute ago was they were adjusting the quick shifter. It had gotten turned off somehow on the previous ride, and the guy was complaining, "Hey, you know, the quick shifter's not working." So they were just setting it up. Very difficult settings, or rather, button combination to get into the settings to adjust some of that stuff. So I'm actually kind of surprised someone who's either A, able to figure it out, or B, like I said earlier, they probably knew.
Okay, so this feels like a lot more tame. It already feels like, I mean, position-wise, it feels very, very similar. Obviously, it's the same bike as mine, different generation. You know, other than like the selector, it's freaking starting to rain on us. Hey, weight-wise, it feels pretty close. Might feel a little bit lighter. As far as is there 86? As far as it actually being lighter, I don't know. I need to adjust these meters. These are horrible. Ooh, touchy throttle. Very, very touchy, very twitchy throttle in first gear. I mean, the bike itself feels lighter, but so far, the old one, I don't know if it's the tires or if it's the bike. It like floats on the road better, if that makes sense. Like the old one does. I don't know if that's just because I'm going slower than my pace. The seat feels a lot harder. Honestly, I would have to get a new seat from the factory. I would not be able to drive this off the line. This seat feels hard as it feels like I'm sitting on a solid piece of plastic. Like I'm honestly, like, if somebody wanted to start on a new riding, like, oh, I want to get a starter bike, but I don't want a bike that, oh, I grow too much because I want to get a loan for the bike, whatever. This is fucking perfect. It's super easy to control. And it's got like different modes, so you can put it in. You can put it in like a lower power mode, or like sport mode, not in sport mode, like, you know what I mean, but like rain mode or whatever. And I mean, you can definitely control the power on this thing. Yeah, this thing wants to go faster. Like, I can't lean it over because I can't go fast enough. I'm sure that 400 though will lean like crazy. Definitely, granted, I haven't been able to go full throttle, but I definitely don't feel like it pulls as hard. Like,
so the 2024 636, doesn't really get a fair shake because the demo ride, like I said earlier, goes at a slower pace than what I would really like to test the bike out. I got a couple of decent pulls, but ultimately, it being in such a low mode, I really don't feel like I got a fair shakedown of this bike to really justify what it's capable of. And ultimately, I think that's why it comes down so low in my list. Is this bike has the potential to be a lot higher on my list, but it didn't really get a fair shake, and it ultimately falls to the number 10 slot. But there were things on this bike that I did not like I mentioned, the seat, the touchy throttle, the way it felt on the road compared to my old bike. It just didn't quite measure up. But at the same time, I feel like it has more potential for it. And I do plan on giving it another chance next year if I can find somebody that'll let me ride it without being in like Kawasaki's demo ride. I do plan on continuing Kawasaki's demo rides just to get ergonomic feels for the bikes because they're great for that. But ultimately, giving a potential like replacement bike for something I already have, it doesn't really give it a fair shake.
Now I'm on the Cali Vulcan S900. This is the second time I've been on a front feg bike. This one feels a million times lighter. Okay, this thing actually feels way more manageable. So, anyways, this thing feels light. It definitely does not feel as like I mean, 45, I feel like I feel slow right now. Not the bike, the route, the group. Definitely like the way the Triumph's doing their demo ride. Yeah, they slowed down way for that, way slow corner. Yeah, there it goes again. That was weird. I thought I was pushing hard enough. I mean, get up and go. I mean, it goes.
that's the Vulcan S for you. Personally, I love the feel of the bike. It just wasn't my style with the forward pegs. It's just not really my thing. I'll still ride bikes like that, but they're not my style. Give me like the Eliminator or something where the pegs are more towards the side, like straight down instead. That'd be more comfort for me personally, but that I'm not holding that against the bike at all. That's all on me and my ergonomics. The biggest thing is this bike lacked power. Okay? I mean, everything felt great on it except for it was just severely underpowered. And I think I called it a 900 earlier. I believe the Vulcan S is actually a 650, and I was just confused because they had the 900 Custom, which kind of looks like the older style Vulcan, with a bigger engine. So I just assumed they had both the same engine, which I'm pretty sure they don't. But yeah, that's the Vulcan S for you. I really don't have much to say other than it's underpowered. So on to the next one. All right, now we're on the smallest bike I've ridden on today. The smallest bike I've ridden on in a while. The Z500. So it's a naked 500 2-cylinder. What are we in first gear? Oh, there's our gear indicator. Come on, there's neutral. Ooh. Dude, this thing vibrates. Oh, it's idling at $2,000. What? So I'm in the back. All right. Which is fine with me. I like being in the back because then I can not really slingshot, but I can fall behind. Yep. Very fun bike. Holy crap, this thing is light. This would be pretty good for a little beginner bike. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually a lot of, like, this feels pretty comfortable. It's not the Z, what's going on here? It's definitely not the Z, or not Z, I keep wanting to call it Z. The Triumph 765. Or the 1200, obviously, it's definitely a lot smaller, way less horsepower, less cylinders, but it's definitely a very easy to rev match. Like a slow group ride, this thing can keep up pretty well enough. It's kind of similar to my 250, honestly. I mean, honestly, I'm I feel like I'm on my 250 a little bit. There's some gravel. I mean, it's by no means fast, but that's actually pretty impressive for how small this bike is. I definitely don't think it's top speed. I gotta figure out what its top speed is, because this is definitely slower than the 250 was.
Although it's been years since I've ridden that 250, so this actually could be faster. I mean, it is a bigger engine. I mean, I'm honestly impressed. Caught up to the group pretty fast.
And there's the Z500. I know coming up in the next clip I'll say that the trail was probably the first one I didn't have any complaints about, but I really don't have any complaints about this. This is probably the first one on the list that I have nothing negative to say about it. It's exactly what it's advertised as. It's not lacking in power for what it is, and it's not overpowered for what it is. It's a great beginner bike. It sounds good. It's a super fun bike to just...
Like, it sounds like a bigger bike.
It's a super fun bike, just flip around into the corners. And it just goes where you want it to go. It's super controllable, super lightweight. And all around, I have a blast riding this every single time I'm on it. So, and I come from bigger bikes, so I'm sure anybody can just jump on one of these as a tool around town if they had the extra cash. But because of that, that is the reason why it is lower on my list, because for my purposes for a bike, if I wanted something just to tool around town with or something like that, I would rather get a 125 or a 200cc, a smaller single cylinder, because
he's letting us by.
Of the fuel economy and for what its purpose is. I wouldn't need a 500 for that purpose. Just, oh hey, I'm gonna run to the store real quick. Yeah, I don't need that. The next two bikes would be more practical for that application, and that's kind of why it falls below them. But with that, on to the next one.
Well, so I don't have video footage of me on the trail, and the trail came in at number 7. Nothing really bad to say about the trail. It's just like, for the price range, what you're getting, not really my style. That's why the trail is actually the first bike on this list I have nothing real negative to say. It is weird not using a clutch at first, but you kind of get used to it. It's kind of like using a quick shifter, you know. And then all of the gears being above neutral is a little weird, but it's not a negative weird. It's just a quirky weird, and that's really why the trail kind of comes in at that. It's borderline a scooter, so. But it's at the same time, it's not if you're just going around town or whatever, I mean, it's got a great cargo rack, and it's very useful. So that's why it comes out where it's at. I have nothing negative to say, but I don't really have a whole lot of positive, like, oh my god, I want one, or any kind of mentality about it. So that's number 7. That's why it came in at 7.
Recording.
I didn't turn my turn signal on. Alright, so I'm riding my buddy's Grom. I had to go get tools for my house, but I just wanted to add another video. Dude, this thing is so much fun. Like, I gave them so much shit. They keep trying to talk me into getting a 125. These things are fucking a blast, dude. Like, I'm just cruising. I'm actually speeding. But, like, for just commuting around the city or, like, to and from work, like, look at the fuel mileage, dude. Or fuel economy. 118.9 average miles to the gallon. Holy shit, dude. Like, that could get me to and from work. It's about 20 miles round trip, 10 miles there, 10 miles back. That could get me to and from work all week on 1 gallon. The whole week. Oh, we got an emergency light. I'm gonna sneak over here, see if I see anything coming. Oh, there's the ambulance. The ambulance. Because it's a single cylinder, it's like very vibratey. Like, we're already doing 40. Like, it's not fast by any means, but I mean, as a commuter, like a dailyable vehicle, the save on gas, if you just got like a couple grand instead of buying a used car, dude. Or even cheaper, get the Chinese knockoffs off Amazon. Like, after shipping and taxes and titling and stuff, you're like at 2 grand. 2 to 2.5 range. And I mean, this thing is, there's a cargo box on the back of his. It just goes where you want it to go.
Recording.
All right. Let's try this bike out. I'm gonna wait for Josh. He kickstanded it. All right. Oh, I don't know if I like that. The pegs that rock. Say we are good. Ooh. Ooh. This thing's got some power. Okay, okay. Ooh, real strong engine brake from 4th to 3rd. 2nd. Let's try it in 2nd, see how much power we get out of this thing. Okay, this is fun. Very strong engine braking.
So the Scrambler 1200, I mean, it's literally does what a motorcycle is supposed to do, and looks like a motorcycle is supposed to look. It sounds really good with that 1200cc engine that Triumph has onto that thing. It's a proper motorcycle. I don't. That's all I can really say about it. It works well as a motorcycle. There's really no complaints. The only thing that was a little weird is the swiveling pegs for your rear sets. But other than that, it was just a proper naked motorcycle.
Recording.
Oh. I have a lot tighter clutch on my bike than that. Oh, fucking hey, dude.
So what can I really say about the Street Triple 765 that the bike really doesn't say for itself? This is an absolute amazing machine. This guy's actually gonna give me the go ahead to pass right there. This thing is probably was the most fun bike to ride out of the entire demo day, and it is an absolute blast to ride on. Now, I didn't make the #1 bike from the demo day bikes because I don't really personally have a use for this style of bike, but it is probably one of the best, if not the best bike that they had there. It is the best all-arounder. If you just want one bike, this thing does just about everything you can think of. Of course, a couple of my friends made comments about it having a face only a mother could love, which that's fair. I do think that the Daytona version of the 765, the full fairing version when they first came out with the 765 motor, was better looking. But as far as an all-arounder, you can't beat this bike. It does everything a bike should, just like the Scrambler 1200 did, but better. And right here I caught up to the Kawasaki group, so I had to slow down through these curves, so I didn't really rip it around these at all. But as you saw in the earlier videos, I was ripping this bike through
Cowie
these
demo
roads.
day. I think that's Jaw. Oh no, wait, no, those are the demo. Those are Cowie still.
Yeah, it's all Cowie stuff except for like the last 3 or 4
Did Josh
bikes
beat the
there.
Cowie demo day?
But
I think he did leave right before the Cowie demo day.
absolutely amazing machine. I know Yami Noob's giving one away right now. So if you haven't, go check that out. And yes, I stalled it 3 times this entire demo ride. I didn't show the third time, but for a bike that has an anti-stall feature, it was surprisingly easy to stall. The clutch was very, very on it, and I wasn't expecting that. So don't try to ride the clutch. Just give it some revs and let it go, and that bike is absolutely amazing. Now on to the next one.
My 05 636. It sucks I don't have footage of it right now. Oh, I hope they're okay. It sucks I don't have any footage of it. It's not that it's not running, it's just it's leaking, and I need to actually sit down and do it. Well, this is running, so I haven't taken the time to actually do the maintenance to the 636. Plus, I'm retrofitting an exhaust for it, so no videos. But it comes in at number 3, and it comes in at number 3 because of how raw it is and how much of an enjoyable ride it is. I've had this bike since 2018. So much fun. I spent so much money on it, and I don't regret it at all. Granted, it's becoming my track bike, so I'm actually going to get to learn more about that bike. And I'm super excited. It's just the sheer raw, unadulterated motorcycle 600. Like, it is the quintessential 600. Like, if you're going to buy a 600 that you want to be like, oh, I want no dilution whatsoever, that's the bike to get. It is a pre-2008 636. Or sorry, pre-2000, pre-2008 636. Because that's when they went to the 600. And they went back to the 636 in 13 with all the electronic aids, and they diluted the bike. All the emissions diluted the bike. So that's the last like raw 636. Now granted, you could probably do a lot of that stuff to the new ones. I still haven't given the new one a fair shake. So that hopefully will come sometime. But until then, it's 05 is number 3.
Recording.
Alright, this is the Triumph Rocket 3. Oh my god, dude, this bike, it feels fucking massive. It's not, okay, so this is the first bike I've ridden with forward pegs. Like, honestly, I honestly would not be bad putting them back where like a sport bike is. There's no car. Oh, I should probably close that so you can hear me better. Alright, so the Rocket 3. Oh, that's torque, baby. You just fucking feel it pull you forward. Oh, I was barely even on the throttle. Dude. Holy shit. Alright. Oh, this feels fucking good too. This feels massive.
I mean, I really don't know what to say about this bike other than it's absolutely amazing. The horsepower and torque numbers is almost identical, 160 horsepower, 160 foot-pounds of torque. Basically, you crack that throttle and it just throws you back. It had me grinning from ear to ear, and I never even gave it full throttle. Not once the entire time I was recording did I ever go full throttle on this bike. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh my god, fourth gear, I can switch the throttle and it just, oh.
And the reason why it's so high up on the list is I want one. After getting off this thing, I said if I ever get the money for a cruiser, this amount of money for a cruiser, because they cost about like $23,000 new. So, I mean, I might have to get a used one at some point. But yeah, if I ever have the money to get a cruiser, this is the ultimate end goal cruiser that I want.
Oh,
right there, I missed a shift, and it took it like it was a champ. But yeah, it's...
oh my god, it sounds so fucking good!
The burbles, this thing's backfire burble gargle sound that it made was amazing. It made me grin. It sucks the camera couldn't pick it up very well, but oh my god, dude. I had a blast driving this thing. Triumph did an amazing job with this bike and the 765 triple. Like those two bikes are so good. I would absolutely own them if I had room for them in my garage and in my life. But personally, for what I have, you know, having an RSV4, having a 636, honestly, the Rocket 3 would fit better in with my garage than the 765, just because, you know, I like to have a variety, and it gives me the cruiser aspect of the variety that I don't have. Plus, if I remember right, this bike also has cruise control and rider modes too. So they actually had it in the street or detune mode, like the lower mode at the time. And even in that lower mode, man, this thing had enough torque to. The torque is scary, absolutely scary. You really need to know what you're doing.
First gear feels really fucking vibraty-ish. But like, this thing handles so much better than you think it is. Like, I just took that turn at 40. It felt like I was doing 15. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it feels slower than what you're actually doing.
But yeah, it's an amazing bike. I honestly recommend anybody that gets a chance to ride it. I definitely want one.
Down.
I'm absolutely in love with it.
And it might be the road mode. Oh my god.
And number one, to nobody's surprise, the last one on the list, the current bike that I am on. Alright, well, after that footage and after that talking, I hope that was turned out well. So I had to do a lot of thinking about this, but in ranking these bikes is super hard. So there was my bikes ranked in order. Unfortunately, I didn't get some videos of some of them, but that's going to be bringing an end to this video. And I hope you guys liked and enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. As always, leave a comment if you think I can improve on something. Welcome to constructive criticism. So have a good one, and I will catch you on the next video.